Well, hello there and welcome back to a brand new video where today is a very exciting day because Sony have announced a brand new product. Yes, a brand new adapter for the DualShock 4 controller. This adapter will come in on the 23rd of January of 2020. So coming out next month, all for $29.99. I'm pretty much sounding like one of those salesmen you watch on the telly shopping TV. All for $30. Comes out next month. Stay tuned, get your order now. And yeah, that was a pretty interesting intro. But anyway, I mean, I don't really watch telly shopping. My girlfriend does occasionally, but it was kind of felt like a sales pitch straight away. Like, I'm not trying to sell you the product. I'm just want to explain it to you, show what they have, because I'm definitely going to be buying and doing an unboxing video. So obviously stay tuned to the channel. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you guys see that video on January 23rd. But today is interesting because what Sony are bringing out, and I'll talk about all the details, what it does, and all that fun stuff. But basically, this adapter is a big competitor for SCUF gaming. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of SCUF. If you haven't, I'll give you guys a brief background. So I think SCUF was founded, I think, back in 2010, 2011, and they actually got recently purchased. They're actually in a merger right now with, is it Corsair or Corsair? The guys who develop like peripherals for computers, components, and all that fun stuff. And they've now acquired SCUF. But anyway, SCUF Gaming is very well known for their customized controllers. It was a company which you could choose an Xbox One controller or a PS4 controller, choose various designs, but their main selling point was paddles and trigger stop. Now, I've been fortunate enough to actually own a few SCUFs over the year. Thinking about it, I did have a SCUF for the 360 and, yeah, just the 360. So I think they were doing controllers for the PS3 and the 360, but now it's all about PS4 and Xbox One. But basically, I don't have a SCUF at the moment. I used to have one, and that's why I'm really excited for this adapter, because SCUF controllers are very expensive. I think you're looking in the range between like £120, maybe £180, depending on the modifications you do. But what a SCUF controller essentially is, this is obviously a standard PS4 controller. Obviously, these are my control freaks, but a standard PS4 controller nevertheless. And one of the main things a SCUF has is SCUF have paddles at the back. So it's either 2 paddles or 4 paddles. The whole point of the paddles is you'll be able to map each paddle with a button. So the best way to explain it is, let's say you're playing Call of Duty, right? And you're playing tactical. So right analog stick would be crouch, but obviously to melee is circle. So obviously you're playing and going do. You see a guy at a melee, you would have to go from your right thumb to circle. Obviously, therefore, you're no longer controlling your character, especially the aiming bit, which is very important. So you're going circle, going back. But how cool would it be if you were going you press a button, like a little button, what did I call them? A paddle, that's what they're called. A paddle at the back. So you're going and then paddle at the back without having to take your thumb off the analog stick. That was sort of their main selling point, and then they brought out a few more paddles, etc., etc. And then their other selling point was trigger stop. So as you guys can see here, I got triggers on the PS4, and obviously on my Xbox One as well. Xbox One have these huge triggers. It's probably easier to show you with the Xbox One controller because the Xbox One controller actually has more travel, I believe, than the PS4. So this is obviously LT, this is RT. So let's take Call of Duty, for example, or Apex or an FPS game. Normally, LT, L1 is your aim, and RT and R1 is basically your shoot, right? But on the Xbox controller, as you see here, there's a lot of travel until it hits the bottom, right? Now, to be honest, if you were to try this right now, and you were in a game or whatever, and you slowly depress this, right? You slowly depress. You slowly press. That's the correct word. Press? Yes. You slowly press this down. You're like, nothing's happening. Then something's happening. So what SCUF decided to do is they would put a screw in here. You'd have an Allen key, which obviously would adjust how strict or how much, say, leverage you would want here. So you could obviously go, right, at the moment, there's quite a lot of gap. Quite a lot of space here until it actually does anything. So your SCUF controller would automatically, by default, would be about here. So all you would have to do is simply just tap it and it would engage. So that's kind of the main selling point for SCUF. They also did different things as well, like changing the color of the buttons. They eventually brought out different like sticks as well. And all that fun stuff. However, the reason why I'm talking about SCUF is what Sony are bringing out for their DualShock 4 controller is something very cheap, something which maps buttons. There'll be 2 buttons at the back, and it's all built in one, and you can have multiple profiles, so you don't have to keep changing the mapping. You can have a profile for different games. It's very exciting. So I know I've spoken a lot about SCUF and briefly about the new attachment from Sony, but I kind of want to give you guys a background as to why potentially Sony are doing this. If you are new to SCUF or you already know about SCUF, you guys know me. I love to have a little chit chat, so I'm pretty passionate about gaming and controllers, so yeah, I just want to give you guys a little quick background check before we actually get into the main point of this video. So if you do enjoy today's video, then be sure to massive thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. Comment down below thoughts regarding this. Right, let's talk about this PlayStation adapter, attachment, whatever you want to call it. So Sony are calling this the DualShock 4 back button attachment. It's a very sleek design with 2 back buttons and an OLED screen. So on the PS4 controller, right, what will happen is you would plug something in to the headphone jack, and you would have like this little thing back here, 2 buttons here, so 1 button, 2 buttons here, so 1 button, obviously equals 2. And then you have the profile here, which is all touchscreen. You can customize the mapping, different profiles, etc. Very exciting. So they've said here that the 2 back buttons can be mapped up to 16 different actions, such as triangle, circle, R1, R2, probably even the start button, even the options button, even the share button. Well, the start button is essentially the options button, but I'm still so used to calling it the start button. So basically, you can map the buttons to any action on the controller. It's pretty awesome, a pretty sleek design. And like I was saying earlier on, the main benefit of having it here is you no longer have to take your thumbs or your fingers off the controller to do an action when you can simply just tap it here. So if you think about it, when you're holding a controller, all you're doing is gripping it like this, and these fingers here are doing nothing. But when there's buttons here, you can go tap, 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 and you're therefore having more control and probably actually improve as a player, because at first it might be a little bit weird, but after a couple of games or whatever, you do experience, you're like, whoa, this is actually pretty crazy different. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. But anyway, let's continue on. So like I was saying earlier, it's very similar to a SCUF controller. That's why I give you guys a background on SCUF and potentially why Sony are doing this. So one of the cool things about this, which I don't think SCUF has, is because it has this OLED screen literally just here with different profiles. Let's say, for example, you're playing Call of Duty and you want to map, let's say, button 1 here as X and button 2 as circle. So, you know, you're jumping or melee if you're playing tactical, and therefore you no longer have to obviously move your thumb from the analog stick to the button itself. And that could be profile 1. But let's say you're playing FIFA or a different type of game. Profile 2 could map those buttons to anything else. It could even have share, for example, or options. You know, if you want to quickly check the mini-map, rather than you having to press options, you can just go press the button here, brings up options. So it's really cool. And like I was saying, it's only cost $29.99. It's far cheaper than buying a SCUF controller, and it comes out on January 23rd. Now, I'm not saying that this will replace SCUF controllers. It's far from it, because obviously SCUF controllers offer various type of things, like I mentioned earlier on. The trigger stops is a very big feature, but having the buttons at the back it's pretty useful. So I kind of like the idea what Sony are doing here. SCUF won't be that fast, I don't think. Yes, they might lose a few sales because people might just want the buttons, but I'm guessing this will make SCUF stronger, because they'll go, oh, right, Sony have brought out this. What can we do? It's similar to the Xbox Elite controller. So the Xbox Elite controller was basically a SCUF controller, but developed by Xbox. And obviously SCUF were like, right, what can we do differently? They brought up a few things differently. And yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. I'm very excited for this. I will be buying this when it does come out. It's, like I said, it's $30. It's pretty cheap. Obviously the controllers are about $60, so it's about half the price. But it's a pretty cool feature, and obviously when you do plug it in, you can still use your headphone jack as well. But yeah, what are your thoughts about it, guys? Is this something you're interested in? Would you be interested in like a video on this or a review? Let me know. But I'll be definitely picking it up, because for me, when I play Call of Duty or Apex, I'm always running around. I never melee, because I'm using tactical. I never melee, because I always forget to move my thumb from here to here. But when it's on the back, whew, I might be able to get an extra few kills or whatever I might do, but it's definitely going to be an improvement on my half. So there we have it, guys. If you have enjoyed today's video, then be sure to massive thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, comment down below your thoughts regarding this. I know I've been talking for a while, but I hope you guys are still here. And yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below, because I'm really intrigued. This is developed by Sony, has been tested by Sony, so it's an official Sony product. But anyway, guys, have a wonderful day, and as always, see you in my next video. Adios, chaps. Boom.